All right, let's write some program. Printf hello world /n printf welcome to S-infinity /n returns looks good. Let's compile. What? Error non-void function main should return a value. Oh my lord Linux, why do you make my life so hard? Why can't I be just done with this function? Okay, return 0. Looks good. Clears gcc hello c. Run. All right, hello world. Welcome to S-infinity. I'm excited, but what is S-infinity about? S-infinity stands for soft skills, survival strategies, success stories, solid support, sincere shepherding, self-determination studies, self-discipline solutions, self-improvement suggestions, and substantial sources. All of which I create for students, software engineers, society, and maybe Superman and Superwoman too. Alright, what I just did is I collected all positive nouns and adjectives that start with letter S and combine them, but let me try to elaborate what this channel will be all about. I've been advising students for more than 15 years, and I feel there's no centralized source of information that can help the students to enter research, grow in research, and become a mature researcher. There's no just centralized knowledge repository for this context. This is not an ideal situation for students, especially when students don't have easy access to senior students or when the professors are busy, which is often the case. I myself sometimes feel bad when my loaded schedule limits me from giving a lot of advice to my students. In this context, 6 years ago, we had a distinguished lecture by Turing Award winner David Patterson. I bet most of you know David Patterson from his very famous book, Computer Organization and Design. A little bit of shameless plug here. He is actually my research grandfather because he was the dissertation advisor of one of my wonderful former advisors, Ramsey Arpachi-Dussault, who graduated from UC Berkeley. Well, anyway, his academic family tree is so huge, I'm just a tiny member. But going back to the context, during his visit to Chicago, I got the chance to have lunch with him and say, hey, I'm one of your grandkids. And then he gave a lot of great advice to me and many people. And one of his advice that I still vividly remember is, go try to explore new things in addition to just doing research, especially after tenure or after becoming a full professor, kind of be bold and take risk. So I've been dreaming to create this channel. The question is then, when should I start? Well, recently I was just promoted to be a full professor at my campus, the University of Chicago. Finally, it's been a long journey. I didn't get an official letter yet, but I got this Slack message from my awesome department chair, and I get all these congratulation emojis from all my wonderful colleagues. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to be part of this great department and university. So here it is. It is the time now. I'll start building this channel so it could be useful and valuable for students or early career researchers for many years to come. Okay, so enough with the motivation. So what will be inside this channel? I'll break this long journey into 8 pillars. The 8 pillars are, first, about education and research in computer science, computer engineering, and data science. Second, master and PhD admission process, tips and tricks. 3, research onboarding, strategies, management, and philosophies. 4, psychology and mental health. 5, communication and reporting. 6, writing and publishing papers. 7, presenting, like giving a talk. 8, job hunting, preparation, and advices. Wow, this is a lot of stuff, and it will take me a long time, probably 3 years until I really complete all of them, or maybe I will never complete them. So please bear with me. There could be more pillars in the future, let's see, but let's now dive into its pillar. In this first pillar, I'll talk about education and research in computer science and related fields, including computer engineering and data science. I'll focus on information from the United States and other developed countries. I will show how computer science education and research is structured here, how universities are being ranked in various subfields in computer science, what are the major and many research areas and sub-areas in world-ranking universities, what are the best conferences or journals in every research area, how to know which professor work in which areas. I will show you many statistics that are published from the US National Science Foundation, such as the number of master and PhD students in computer science and other areas, their sources of funding like teaching and research assistantship, their monthly stipends, where do PhD graduates go after they graduate, right? And faculty and engineer salary, and so on. Next, I will start with the most important part of our research career, which is preparing for admission to PhD program or master with thesis options, or also known as research-based masters. I'll share with you the great opportunities that are available to you, how graduate student funding works, but I will also be candid with you about the competition level. We will address questions such as what are the most important considerations for admission? Does GPA matter? Does taking a lot of classes improve your chance? Is taking internship necessary? How many years of experience are needed before applying? Who makes admission decision? How do professors or admission committees make decisions? How to prepare for your resume, write a statement of purpose, get ready for the interview process. This is all not a trivial process, so we will cover them for sure. Next, after you are admitted to graduate schools, your career as a researcher begins. How do you kickstart research? What does research even mean? What should you do on a weekly basis, monthly basis, and yearly basis? So there will be a lot of research onboarding questions that we will discuss. Research is not just about running experiments and writing papers. Behind it, you must have the proper approach, strategy, and mindset. For example, in high school or undergraduate classes, most of the time we're being taught in a sequential manner. Do chapter 1, next read chapter 2, then skim chapter 3, and so on. Research is different. Research is chaos. It's like solving a puzzle, but worse, you don't even have all the puzzle pieces in front of you. So having the proper research mindsets, characters, strategies, and philosophies is very essential. Also, in high school or undergraduate classes, most of the time, a given project is also capped within 2 to 4 weeks at most. On the other hand, a single research might take 2 to 3 years until it gets published. Again, weeks versus years. So you cannot just do research, you must manage your research. And I'll talk about all of this stuff. Okay, next is psychology. Wow, this one is heavy, really heavy. But let's be real. Let's do show of hands. Raise your hand if you're stressed out. I am. Raise your hand if you feel a constant pressure. I'm still raising my hands. Raise your hand if you feel you're lost. Sometimes maybe. My hand is still raised. Psychology and mental health is real. It is part of our essence as a human being. So we should take care of it seriously with strategies. I learned about this by watching professional sports. I found out that behind these top sport players, they have mentors, mental coaches, and professional psychologists, even therapists. Why? Because their jobs are full of stress. It's about win, win, and win. In a professional sport, you don't win, you get fired or traded. Likewise, it's very similar to our situation. There's the pressure to make an innovation, to get a paper published, to get an internship, to get a job, and so on. So I will discuss how we can improve our psychology, so hopefully we could execute research better. To give you a taste of the importance of psychology, let me give you one popular and simple example. You submit a paper, and let's say this is your first submission in your career. When you get a notification that your paper is rejected, let's be honest, your soul is crushed. I remember my soul was crushed. But let's think about this. Statistically speaking, I bet 80 to 90% first-time submissions are rejected. So it is actually normal to be rejected the first time. It is okay to feel down, but hopefully just a day or two. But more importantly, let's recuperate and re-energize. That's the only way. Adapt to the situations, let's read the long reviews, and have a strong belief in yourself that you will be able to make improvements and eventually have the paper accepted. So that's the kind of psychology aspects that we will discuss. Now the fifth item is communication. Let's say now you're a researcher, you're executing your daily routines, and you're already zealously strengthened your psychology. Well, now you need to communicate and report your progress and findings to your advisors and collaborators. I find a lot of students underestimate this process, but if you think about this, most of you only have half an hour every week with your advisor. Half an hour every week talking with your advisor. That was at least my experience. So you must make that half an hour very, very efficient such that when you go out from the meeting and you do your 30, 40, 50, or even 60 hours of research within the next week, you know exactly what to do. You should be efficient and effective and not wasting time. To achieve that, it's proper that you and your advisor talk at the same wavelength. You must know how your advisor think and operate, and your advisor must be able to understand you quickly. So this is just a sample of what communication and reporting means. I'll share you tips and tricks to hopefully improve your communication. Let's suppose you have communicated well with your advisor for a year. Now eventually you need to write your paper. There are already hundreds, if not thousands of books and articles about technical writing. If that's the case, why would I bother to cover this again? Because I believe we are writing to the reviewers. Again, to the reviewers. We are not writing to the audience, not yet. The reviewers are the first level of guard that you need to pass. So you need to know how the reviewers think. A system person like me cannot tell a machine learning person how to write a paper for a machine learning conference. A machine learning person cannot tell me how to write a paper for a systems conference. Every community has a unique style. It's not just about grammar, it's not just about correctness, but it is about style. But what is style? It cannot be described in a single sentence, but style will be embodied by all the details in the paper. I mean, if you look at great paintings in the world, take the Mona Lisa painting, for example. It took Leonardo da Vinci 14 years to finish that painting. 14 years. To my eyes, it's just a woman folding her hands. But to the art communities, there are a lot of precious details inside that picture. The beauty is in the details. So this is what I will cover in the writing process, from scratch to finish. Writing styles, writing managements, writing strategies. We will discuss every detail, every important element in every section of your paper. Introduction, motivation, design, implementation, evaluation. We will dissect and deconstruct good and bad sections. Not just sections, but also figures, tables, and graphs. Again, the beauty is in the details. Now let's say your writing was successful and your paper gets accepted. Congratulations. Now you need to present your work. In some conferences, it's just 15 minutes of presentation, or it could be 25 minutes. And your audience is the people in your general area. In some other occasion, you need to present it to some industry collaborators, maybe to get some fundings. You also need to redo your presentation for your master thesis, candidacy exam, and finally your dissertation. And at one point in the future, you also need to give a job talk. So many different types of audience. I keep saying to my students, the number one rule in giving presentation is know your audience. Know your audience. Maybe you already feel this. Maybe you have gotten some feedback in the past that says, oh, your presentation is not at the right level. What does it even mean, not at the right level? Well, there are a lot of reasons, and depending on who the audience will be. So same as writing, the beauty of a presentation is in the details. We will discuss every element of your presentation. Your introduction slides, motivation slides, design slides, evaluation slides, your overall message, your overall delivery, and most importantly, your overall psychology as well. So in the end, your specific audience in that specific occasion can enjoy your presentation. So finally, later in your career, you have done a lot of research, you communicate well, you write well, you present well, and then now it's time to find jobs. It could be an academic job, it could be an industry job, or job in national labs. I can share what I know about academic job advice, but my hope is that I can gather experiences from all of you as well who go to different career paths. We all know that the preparation paths towards getting an academic versus industry versus national lab jobs are all different. Okay, let's wrap up. Wow, as you can see, this is a lot of stuff. I don't know when I will finish all of them, or even whether there's a finish line or not. It will take multiple years for sure. But again, kind of looking back, it would be nice to have a centralized resource for all the S-infinity words that I showed earlier about soft skills, survival strategies, success stories, and many things. And this is like atomic habit. You can just spend like 10 minutes a day listening to a video. You can do that while you're having your meal, while you're waiting for the bus, or even while you're going number 2. Right? If at the end we have hundreds and hundreds of videos, I'm quite sure that this channel will have some impact and hopefully a big one to your research career. Okay, I'm excited. It will be a new big journey for me. I hope you are all with me in this journey. If you're excited too, please add comments below. What do you want to learn more from this channel? What do you want to hear from me or the community? Write your questions or maybe even share your stories to the community. But remember, please be patient. This whole thing will take years and years and years until the channel has a lot of useful information. Alright, this has been a long video. Welcome again to S-infinity. I look forward to seeing you again next time, and let's strive for S-infinity.